All right, it is Wednesday, October 14th, 6:30 p.m. We are live with This Fan's View, and we got Carl, John, Lauren, Anthony, and special guest football analyst Jason Copina. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Very well.
Doing great.
Doing great.
Welcome.
Jason.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yes.
All right, first we're going to do a little house cleaning stuff. John, what do you got?
Well, we have our Who Wore It Best contest, number 33. Cliff Lee beat out Larry Bird and that high school kid, Kobe Bryant.
That's what you wanted. You never wanted Kobe.
I had him up there on the vote. He just didn't win. He didn't get enough votes. He didn't even beat out Larry Bird. That's why he wasn't in the original cast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You just push through who you like. Just stacking the deck.
Stacking it. It's my job. I deal it out and put them out. So this week we have a very interesting battle. We got for the Phillies, Roy Halladay, the 8-time All-Star, 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Perfect game in May 29th of 2010. Then he also followed up in the postseason that year and threw a no-hitter October 6th of 2010. He's a Phillies Hall of Famer. He's a Baseball Hall of Famer. And for the Eagles, we have Herschel Walker. Did most of his career in the USFL and a little bit in some other towns as well, but very good player. USFL MVP in 1985, College Hall of Famer. For the Flyers, we have John Van Beesbrook, USA Hockey Hall of Famer in 2007. He's the second most wins as an American-born goaltender. He played 112 games here with the Flyers, with 52 wins, 24 losses, and 33 losses and 24 ties, with a good goals against average of 2.2. Then we have for the 76ers the round mound of rebounds, Charles Barkley, the 11-time All-Star, the NBA All-Rookie team in '85, led the league in rebounds in '87, part of the 50th anniversary All-NBA team. The number is retired by the Sixers, NBA Hall of Famer and a 2-time gold medalist for Team USA. And for the outsider, we have Walter Sweetness Payton, Super Bowl champion with the Bears, 9-time Pro Bowler, the MVP in 1977, a member of the 75th anniversary team and the 100th anniversary team. Numbers retired by the Bears and the Hall of Famer in NFL. So Mario, who do you got?
There's some good competition here, but I'm going Doc.
There you go.
So
very cool. Lauren?
This is definitely a tough one. I think it boils down to Roy Halladay and Charles Barkley, in my opinion. So I guess I'm going to go Roy Halladay.
Okay. Anthony?
I think Halladay will win it, but I'm going to go with Charles Barkley. But I will say this week is, even though I think it'll go to Halladay, I think it's probably the best week in a long time. I mean, every one of those guys are good names, so it's definitely a good week.
Yes. Carl?
I have a question first. Who brought Doc Halladay to Philadelphia?
Well, I was going to get to that. I forgot to mention that in the part of number 33,
Right.
but that Ruben Amaro.
You always steal my thunder, so I'm stealing yours. So
Yes, you did. Because Ruben Amaro Jr. got a couple of votes for number 33 as well.
And where will he be Saturday?
He's going to be sitting right there next to you on Saturday afternoon.
Now you got to sit next to Anthony.
Actually, Anthony, it's between 12 and 2.
I book them and bag them. I don't do much after that on Saturday. Oh, you're gonna. You booked it. You booked it.
I booked them.
That's right.
That's
right.
fine.
Lauren booked them. Lauren booked them. Yeah, very good. So yeah, very cool. I'm gonna shake things up a little bit.
If he votes for a basketball guy, I swear.
Shake it up.
I got to go Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
I got to go Charles Barkley.
All right.
He
I
didn't
mean,
even root for Wilt Chamberlain. He votes for Charles Barkley.
I love Chuck. Chuck destroys every buffet he goes to. So I got.
And he
I
looks
love-
every bit of it too.
I love Chuck. I've always loved Chuck. He's number one on my bucket list to have here at Carl's Cards and Collectibles. I got to go Chuck Barkley, number 34.
There you go, Jason.
This is a tough list. That would be very interesting if you had him on. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely between Roy and Chuck. I gotta go Chuck. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Chuck.
There you go.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I love Roy, but Chuck's Chuck. He's
He's definitely a personality.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
I'm going that way as well with Charles Barkley.
No.
Wow.
No way.
I think this is your first basketball guy, isn't it?
No, I voted
No?
for I voted for a couple other guys.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I got Chamberlain at least, and a couple other ones.
okay.
And then hockey players. I mean, I love Holiday as well, but Charles was, Doc was here only not as long of a career in Philadelphia. Did a lot for Philadelphia though while I was here.
Absolutely did. Yes.
And if there was a little bit more longer career and maybe a championship. I mean, he's had no header in a perfect game, so there's not much else you can do. It wasn't his fault, but yeah, I think Charles, we might have to go with him.
All
There
right.
you go. Nice job.
There you go.
Nice job.
So, all right, John, you want to do the recap?
All right. Well, we have to.
Since I got I mean, things are back to normal. I got my ass kicked this week.
Yeah, this week wasn't. This was a first again in fantasy football. We as hosts are now in second place. We have never been in second place throughout this
Good.
whole time. Yes.
No wonder you're angry.
I wasn't happy at all. I definitely was not happy. But the viewers have stepped up and they've done a great job this year. We had 37 people come out this week and voted, and they took Mario down. Mario had 186.44 to 223.7. So it was it was a pretty good lopsided matchup, and
No excuses.
led by Patrick Mahomes. So there was 21 viewers picked him. So he's there in the raffle that we're going to do here in a few minutes for the Harold Carmichael 8x10 photos that they're going to win.
Nice.
Chris Kapusta, he is the winner of the overall for the viewers' individual scores. He had the highest score this week altogether, even beating out the viewers' team itself with 226.80 or 28. So he had a very good week as well, and that was even having a 0 in there for Michael Thomas. So he could have had a real big game this week. So we just got to watch while we're doing the video or doing our votes, just to make sure teams aren't on buys, and some teams that are you just got to watch players you pick, because sometimes they're not playing, or if they're questionable and then you pick them and then they don't play, you end up with the 0. So scores were down a little bit this week, but
A lot of injuries.
during games and everything else. So and then a couple bad performances. So yeah, it was interesting. We had a great time again, as usual. This week with the Tuesday game throwing us off here a little bit, we're going to extend the vote in a little bit because we've had a little bit of little bit crazy here with This Fan's View family here. So we're getting things under control, and we'll be getting some votes extended here a little bit. And Jason's here to help you guys pick some votes, hopefully, in a few minutes with his information that he's going to be able to give us. So yeah, we'll probably going to be around Friday by the time we get settled up and get everybody in. So we'll have a little extra time since there's no Thursday game this week,
Right.
because of the virus. So
All right.
we'll have a little extra time there. So
All right.
So in saying that, we got the generator going, the randomizer, and we got all 21 names in there. And being week number 5, I will generate this 5 times. So unfortunately, Carl's not here to look over my shoulder to watch it. But I'll show it to everybody once we're done.
We're all looking over your shoulder.
Right. You're looking over. And so 3, 4, and number 5, the winner is 18, Ryan McGettigan.
Ryan McGettigan, come on down.
All right.
Come on down, contact the store, contact one of us, and we will make arrangements for you to get your prize, or if we have to ship it out, just have to pay the shipping cost, and we'll get it out to you.
All right.
So,
And I guess with that, Carl, we'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I just had a kind of a sad announcement to make, but it's going to work itself out and it's going to get better. But we want to give a shout out to Sue Henderson, my wife, Lauren's mom, friends of the show as well.
She's watching.
She's watching. Is she on board? Good
Yep.
for her. Good for her. She's in the hospital. She was admitted last night. She's got a medical condition that hopefully will sort itself out over the next few days, and we can get her all healed up and back up and ornery as ever. So, I wanted to give a shout out to her. You guys, we always try to acknowledge her and have fun with her because that's what we do. But hopefully we're entertaining her for a little bit this evening. And Lauren, you got a special message for Mom?
Yeah, just wishing her all the thoughts and good wishes in the world right now.
absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
So with that being said, Mario, it's all yours.
So, Jason.
Yo.
So, for those of you who don't know, Jason is my oldest godson, one of 5 that I have. And he is a football analyst. And Jason, why don't you tell everybody what you do and who you work for and what it's all about?
So basically, I work for a company called Armchair Analysis. It's really geared towards all the people the fantasy football industry. If you're into sports betting, stuff like that. Even if you're just into researching. Basically, what we're doing is we're providing. We basically chart plays, provide a bunch of data points for everyone to use. We provide it in a consumable format. I'll put it that way. It's easy to use, spreadsheets. There's a lot of data points out there, but most places aren't really affordable. Most places won't even give you a price up front. You can't even go on their website and get it. Probably get to call the customer service hotline or whatever, and get to do that. So it's a really good product. We're putting out some really good stuff. We're doing some more stuff every year. I'm also doing using their data. I'm also doing some analytics stuff that I'm going to be posting. Doing some social media stuff like that. Coming up as we week 5. So now we have a little more data to go off of, so I can start getting some stuff together.
Okay. So what teams do you cover?
So I started out covering I cover the Chiefs, the Saints, Chiefs, Saints.
Come on.
The Vikings. Now I took on more. Now I can't remember. It's Vikings, Patriots, and then of course the Birds.
Of course. So, all right. So if you have questions for Jason, ask them. We'll try to get to them. John, I'm going to let you and Jason talk now. Because this is kind of right up your alley.
Well, how did you get selected those teams for you to cover?
First thing in my mouth was I obviously asked for the Birds, so I got that one. I just they said you can pick, and those were the offenses that I like. San Francisco was the other one. I'm doing the Niners. I just like those offenses. They're fun to watch. They're not it's not the Giants or the Dolphins or something like that. Like there's some interesting things going on. So make it a little interesting.
Okay. And how did the analytics or the numbers work out that Nate Gary was covering Claypool?
It's not looking too good.
Thanks, John, for
I
melting.
mean, there's not a number on this planet that I can get there.
Well, just checking. Just checking to see if that
John
was.
just goes right for the jugular. It's not even.
Why skate around it?
Yeah,
Just go right at it.
never ease into it. Just go right for the throat.
I don't know if I've broken down a play for longer than I have it. I've been just dissecting it all week, trying to figure out what on God's earth they thought they were doing there.
I don't know if they thought anything really. I mean, it was.
I mean, you got Cole Thomas. I mean, you got to get him off it. I mean, the guys are
Right.
burning all day long. You have first of all, he's 32 for 32 covering tight ends and running
Right.
backs, and you're gonna have this burner go down. This rookie burner scored 3 touchdowns on you already. I mean, first of all, I just take him off the field. I just take him off the field altogether. But
Exactly.
that's just me.
Exactly.
I think we get another John on the show, Carl.
Yeah, that was my dad.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about you two.
Oh,
Because I think you guys think very similar.
well, he's got the numbers to back it up. I just watch the games and I can see it. But, he's got the numbers to back it up to tell if I'm right or wrong. But
True. So Jay, how do you go about when you get the coaches tapes?
Yeah. I mean, everyone can get it. It's on just NFL Game Pass, but
Right.
yeah, it's much better when you're watching that.
Okay. So break it down for me. What exactly do you do when you're watching a game?
I mean, it depends on the type of play. We chart different things for different plays. Personnel is the first thing I do. Motion. So basically, I basically just slow motion and go back and forth through the play over and over again until I figure it out. So I'm looking at things like number of tight ends, number of running backs, and then from there you hear it on TV. People will talk about 21 personnel or 12 personnel. Birds run a lot of 12 personnel. So it's the first number is running backs, second number is tight ends. So 12 personnel is the 2 tight end sets he likes with Goddard and Ertz. Then on motion, motion is a big thing we're doing this year. Motion is a big thing. It's been blowing up a lot in the league. Everyone's finding out that if you not so much like the small motion, but it's the snap motions when you have the guys doing the sweeps across the formation like San Francisco usually does. Birds are getting burned on that all year. Teams are finding out that's a big advantage. So that's one of the other ones we're doing. Coverage types, how many catchable targets. If the target's on target, if it's a first read, if it's on target, if it's single coverage, double coverage, triple coverage, stuff like that.
Okay. So in your opinion, what could the Eagles be doing better?
How much time is this?
Well,
we only got 40 minutes left.
right.
Wait, that's what I
can they be
usually
doing?
tell you.
Oh, I know. Well, he has that much time, so I was just giving him the updated number. I was channeling my inner Carl.
That's a
What
bad
could they
look.
be doing?
So yeah, what could they be doing better?
It depends what part of your team you're talking about. If you're talking about Schwartz, I can go on.
Let's
You want to start? You want to start with Wentz? I mean, everyone wants to talk about.
let's
Wentz.
do offense.
Oh,
first.
there you go. You charted all the plays throughout the year so far with the Eagles. How many passes has Wentz missed being his fault as far as bad throws and possibly wide receivers versus wide receivers running the wrong routes and that kind of stuff?
As far it's been mostly him. As far as so you have to, when you say his fault, you have to break it down into 2 different things. There's at least from when I look at it, I see 2 different things. There's the very few plays where he just makes a bad read and just throws it into just makes a terrible decision on throw. That's fewer or far between. His biggest problem this year has been for me and this has been something he's been struggling with since college. His footwork gets off, and once his footwork gets off, the ball gets off. If you look at his feet, every single time he misses his target, if it's not a bad feet, his foot's pointing a different way. Your foot should be pointing the direction you're throwing at. You'll see it every single time. It's bending perpendicular and the ball sails, or he's standing up on his front leg and his front leg straight, and that's when you start seeing the ball going high. So that's been the thing my only theory, I think it's Press Taylor. I think they need to get rid of him. He could be. I think he could be a great coach. He could be an amazing coach. I don't know. Obviously not in the room, but he's not. He's definitely not communicating with Wentz. I mean, he's not.
No.
They're not. He's not getting through to him.
No. You can even see it. Like Wentz's legs are spread out, probably at least a foot too wider than they should be. I would say.
Yeah, he's
outside of his shoulders. I mean, he's really wide. Just watching from the games. That's why I go back to coaching a little bit as well, as far Press Taylor, not getting him on, staying focused on those details, and getting him out of his mechanics, his feet, like you said, his feet aren't angled, pointed towards where he's throwing the ball and stuff like that. So I think his feet being wider out, he becomes shorter, and that's why balls are getting tipped at the line a little bit easier this year as well. And this is just coming from a knucklehead like myself that watches them on the game. And,
You're very far from.
No, you're right. You're right.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, if I could see it, how are these coaches not seeing it? And like you see it as well, and you have obviously more experience watching it, but why aren't these coaches teaching us up better?
So, I read a report for Bleeding Green Nation. I mean, they do some great work over there. I mean, I trust their resources. There's something going on with the dynamic here. Everything's all messed up. Back when we won in 2017, this was Doug's team. Doug had control of everything. You had Frank Reich. He had control of the offense. Then you had
Who's that?
Frank Reich. Your boy.
Oh yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, he's a heck of a coach. I like him.
He's a mediocre head coach.
Well, I didn't say for head coach.
You give him all the credit you want. He done squatting with the Colts. So
but that's okay.
That's just my opinion. Hey, but there's a great question.
Oh, it didn't help that his franchise quarterback
I was going to
retired before the season.
So, Jay, Lisa wants to know how long it takes you to go through a game to get all the data that you need.
When I first started, it took me quite a bit. I'm getting faster. It takes. Depends how many plays there are. Obviously, if a team does really bad one week, there's not going to be as many plays. But it take anywhere from like 1 to maybe 3 at the absolute most. I mean, one's very. I mean, I think I did that once, but it's mostly like 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get through a game.
That's not bad.
You said you're still doing it now with the Eagles game. You're still watching.
It's the Eagles.
Yeah.
He'll sit there and watch it all night.
This is to figure out what the heck's going on.
So, what are your thoughts of Peterson as a coach? Figure I'll get right into that.
I have it's a bittersweet relationship with this guy. It really is. I think he's a good I've always been a big fan. I'm not a big fan of the Belichick military style. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you so you do what I want kind of thing. I like the familial atmosphere of this team. Guys want to play here. They want to be there. I think he's gotten really soft in the last couple of years. I mean, it's obviously this is me just outside looking out. It just doesn't seem like he's lost something over the last couple of years.
This. We're tight.
See, to me, the stuff's all apparent. I mean, it's so obvious when you're looking at these games and when you just hear him talk. He's lost something. I don't know, and I don't know what it is.
John does. Just ask him.
Well, I think he's lost control. I mean, of the team, like you said, and not because of him. Like you said, in 2017, it was more his team, and it seems like a lot of the power has been taken away, and Howie Roseman's got more.
Yeah. See, you're right, and that's what I read in the report is that apparently it's coming down from Lurie. And Lurie's has given Wentz free reign to just do whatever he wants. And it's not a way to run a team.
Right, and then Roseman's telling Peterson, with Fulgham he could play this week and holding them back and not letting having to have JJ Arcega-Whiteside out there, the guy who has like 10 catches in his career, for about 12 yards. And the same thing last year, wouldn't let Ward get on the field because he had to get Hightower, had to get JJ also on there as well, and also backpack kid. I forget who was that. The kid the other wide receiver he kept getting hurt last year with the Super Bowl team. Slipped my head, but he did the backpack dance when he scored his touchdowns. He's not that important. That's why we keep forgetting his name. He's not playing anymore right now.
When you have 30 wide receivers coming in and out in the last 3 years, I mean, it's
right, exactly.
Start blending together.
But I mean, if Howie's making these calls and taking that power away from Doug Peterson, and and it seems like too, there's like almost we have two head coaches like Carl and I keep talking about. Like it's Schwartz's team does the defense, and when it's offense, it's Peterson. And Peterson wasn't allowed to call a timeout when on that play, even though he says he's seen it, and he didn't really want to call a timeout when Claypool is being covered there by Gary. Because they needed to save timeouts for when they get the ball back, but. I hate that. That's a lame answer, but
you got to burn the time out there. I mean, obviously, the alternative was Gary getting burnt and scored a touchdown, and we go.
Well, even if they scored a first down, they're going to have to use their timeouts after that because the game would have been, they would have just ran more time off the clock. So you have to use that timeout, but but I mean, he couldn't step on Schwartz's toes by calling that timeout, like making it look like he made a bad play.
Yeah, that's what he needs to start. He needs to start. I mean, somebody's saying he has to exert like this complete military control over these guys, but like you gotta be like, look, that doesn't look right. You want me to call a timeout? Like,
right?
Should we get out of this? Like, this doesn't look like it's going to be good for us.
Right, and he's the one that ends up getting the blame for it at the end.
Well, is it out of the realm of thinking that there's players on the field that can call a timeout at any time? And that one of these players, may have stepped up and called a timeout, knowing that this is going to go bad.
From what I heard, I think McLeod said yesterday, which I was actually surprised about this. McLeod didn't even, he implied that he doesn't even have the authority to change the coverage on a play, which is something that as a free safety, that should be his responsibility because Malcolm's responsibility when he was here. So when I heard that, I was that was weird. I mean, that's a weird. I mean, unless for some reason unless he has Nick Gary calling the coverage packages, but I don't know. That's normally it's the free safety, and then I thought it would have went to him. So that was a weird thing for me to hear.
And the second part to this question: how much does this team miss Malcolm Jenkins?
I don't think. I mean, you could say from a leadership perspective, maybe. I mean, he helps there. He's having a down year down there. I mean, he was already. I didn't like getting rid of him. I mean, I wanted him here. I thought he was sometimes you just got to take the moral leader and just leave him there and for the benefit of the team. Sometimes it just helps keep a team together.
Exactly.
And his play didn't fall off. Like I so drastically that I was like, this guy needs to go. But I mean, he's getting there. He's not getting out at that age, and he is getting a little step back. As far as the coverage goes, they're not. This team, the way Schwartz likes to play defense, it makes the team look a lot worse to the average fan than it actually is. We're actually, I think we're 14th in DVOA. So I mean, we're not as awful as it seems.
That's middle of the road.
We could be doing a lot better.
Right. I mean, that's 14's. Just above middle of the road, so it's not like it's you're setting the world on fire.
Yeah, I mean, no, they're not a good defense by any means, but I mean, you would, for me, from watching the games, you would think they would be a lot lower. Just from I mean, obviously when you see Nick Gary get burned like that, I mean, it doesn't really bode well.
And how does this defensive line not get more pressure on Ben Roethlisberger?
Defensive lines has been the best in pass rush all year. They've been graded out number one all year long. It doesn't look like it. It depends.
Well, not now, right? Because Pittsburgh's above them now. After
I mean, I looked today, and they're still number one. Just in pass rush. I mean, it depends how you judge pass rush. I mean, if you're talking about sacks, which I wouldn't recommend to use to judge pass rush, sacks is more of a quarterback stat. It's that the quarterback always determines it more than the defensive line or the offensive line usually does. I mean, it depends if it's because it's hard to evaluate when you're not seeing these guys go down. And, the quarterback's always upright. I'm not really sure where they're at in sacks, the number of sacks. So, the plays aren't ending. They're giving them a chance to survive. Right. But, I mean, the pass rush is still there. The problem is it's hard for a pass rush to get there when you play the cover 3 soft zone that Schwartz likes to play. It gets the ball out of their hands. The quarterback can throw the ball so quickly. He's just giving up that short area of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So Mario, we've hit the 7 o'clock hour. So why don't you bring everybody up to speed with our guest and where they can reach out and find out all this information that he's been kind enough to share with us.
Okay. We are here with Jason Capina, who is a football analyst for Jay. Give me the name again. Sorry. Armchair.
Like 6 times. You're the worst Godfather.
Well, I think I'll listen to you. So.
He hasn't listened to us either, Jason, so don't worry about it.
You guys unreal.
Jesus.
Armchair quarterback.
You got the first part of it right. So anyway, where can they find the information that you're given?
At armchairanalysis.com.
Armchairanalysis.com. So there you go. So we're talking with him, and if you have any questions for him, football or any other type of questions, just shoot them out. We'll try to get to them. So who do you think is best in line right now to win it all this year? Might be tough to say, but
I mean, it's been a really up and down year for everyone. Before yesterday, I would have said the Bills actually had an outside shot. I mean, there was one game. I mean, it was the Josh Allen looked really, really good to start the season. I mean, the Chiefs are having a down year.
Wait, they just lost one game.
Right. Yeah, but Mahomes hasn't been himself. I mean, he's still great. I mean, he's still a great quarterback, but yeah, he just hasn't been as sharp.
He's my fantasy quarterback. Why are you blowing him up?
Oh, if you're on my fantasy.
God, come on.
he's gonna throw up the yards. He's still an amazing quarterback.
I guess he saw your fantasy team. That's why he's saying that.
Good thing I don't have that. Good thing I don't have that button.
yeah, John, you're up this week, aren't you?
I am up this week.
All right.
I am.
So, so Jay, you have to get in on our.
I had to take the tough week.
Yeah, you got to get in on our fantasy football and play up against us. You probably would have an edge over most everybody. But so what? I'm trying to think how to put this. If you, I don't even want to ask this question, but would you have kept Wentz as the Eagles quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
He has the stuff. It's there. It's there. You just got to find it.
Lauren?
It was there the first half of the Redskins game. First half. He was amazing. I mean, it's there. You just got to tap back into it.
So what's that going to take?
For me, in my opinion, I think they need to either – you don't have to fire Press Taylor, move into another role. Just elevate him to offensive coordinator. You can be offensive coordinator. I don't care about that. He's not going to be in Wentz's ear. I think they should have hired Dan Orlovsky last year. I mean, he and Wentz have a good relationship, but I feel like he would be the guy that can get through to him. And he's been coaching him through Twitter for like the past year. I mean, he's just been – I know because I know Wentz listens to it too. So I mean, like that, and I know he's been waiting to get a job like that. For me, that's just my gut feeling. Yeah, that's what I would. He needs somebody. He needs a quarterback coach.
Okay.
I mean, DeFilippo was the guy that was able to tap into. I'm not sure why they didn't bring him back. That was a weird. That was a weird situation for me. I was confused about that, but yeah. So I mean, that's what I would do.
Okay, so we got two questions. Belinda wants to know if there's any up-and-comers in the league that you would tell everybody to watch out for.
Any up-and-comers? There's quite a few. The kid from Jacksonville, Levitsky Sanat, he's pretty good. trying to think. There was I
Well,
can't think of their names.
I'll let you think on that.
On blank.
I guess
So
what do we got to do? We got to pay for the service. Is that what we got to do?
Yeah, they'll give you a full report.
We got to pay for the service. What's it going to take? Come on, you got to come up.
The money just sitting.
You got to come up with somebody better than somebody we've never heard of from Jacksonville. Holy
Well,
cow!
maybe
Come on.
maybe you should have heard him. That was the whole point.
Oh my
Listen,
God!
Shania, he's doing well.
He is
Come
doing
on.
well.
Come
Very
on.
very interesting story as well. With his
You got
his
to
father.
pay for the service, folks. Let's
you
You got T Higgins over in Cincinnati. He's been looking good. Obviously you have CeeDee Lamb. He looks as advertised. Surprised the other guys haven't looked. Jerry Jeudy is. I mean, have you even heard his name all year?
No.
Well, he's been hurt.
Has he been hurt?
He's been hurt. Yeah.
And
And then Locke got hurt as well. But even that kid last night, number 13 for Buffalo, he looked pretty good.
what was his name? Another weird name.
Yeah. He looked like a decent, another wide receiver. I think Fulgrim's going to be do well.
I think he's legitimate. I mean, I think it didn't seem to me like it was a fluke.
No.
He was doing things. His route running was great. I mean, if you look at the route running, I mean, it's not something that you just luck into. I mean,
right.
He was, his hands. Actually, I looked up a scouting report. I obviously never heard of this guy in my entire life. So I found a scouting report from college, and I mean, that's everything he looked like. It seemed like that's what the word on him was coming out of college.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I was listening to his coach in Old Dominion today, and he had his last 9 games his senior year. He had over 1,000 yards receiving, and 63 receptions with 9 TDs. And he said he's a hard worker. He does what he has to do. You throw up those 50-50 balls, and he'll get them more times than not. And he catches the ball, which I like, with his hands and not with his body, like a lot of the other wide receivers that the Eagles have. Which I think might go to coaching a little bit, because
they've been a poorly coached. Their wide receiver coaching has been atrocious for going back before even Chip Kelly. I mean, it's just been probably going back to Andy Reid. I mean, I think we've gone through like 10 wide receiver coaches in the past.
We have.
I mean, they're it's for some reason
you would think you'd hit on one of them eventually, but we haven't found that one.
Wow.
So
what are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts?
I like him as a prospect. He's a good prospect. He reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson.
Okay. So what's it going to take to get him ready to be a starter?
I mean,
or is he stuck behind Wentz until Wentz leaves?
Wentz is the franchise quarterback for right now. I mean, that's it. I think they want to incorporate that two quarterback look a little more. I'm not into it. It's not. I mean, Sean Payton can't even figure it out in New Orleans. I mean, it's just a gimmick for right now. For Jalen Hurts, I feel like I flipped out when they picked Jalen Hurts initially. My first reaction was just start screaming. It was just like ridiculous. But thinking about it, it was a very valuable move for Howie to make. It gave them insurance. It gave them, the ability to incorporate him in the offense. He was never going to just sit for 4 years and just leave.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he was hedging his bet. He got him, and then worst comes to worst, if Wentz gets hurt and he steps in, he plays well. Now you have a trade chip. I mean, there was multiple ways to go with it. I mean, quarterbacks are in the draft are always very. I would rather them make that move than draft a running back in the second round. I mean, it's just
or Claypool.
Or Claypool. Well, I mean, when did he get drafted?
He was like a couple picks after the Eagles, after we picked Hurts.
So is there any truth to the Eagles are a football factory? I mean, they just
quarterback
factory. They just produce.
We're a quarterback factory. I mean,
didn't that come out of his mouth?
I mean, that was just an odd thing to say. in the quarterback factory. I mean, like how much? Like what are you going to manufacture? The guy's going to take 3 snaps a game. I mean, it's just.
Well, and you hurt Wentz. You know, he's gone backwards since here. So it's not like the coach in here that's helping the quarterbacks aren't producing guys.
Yeah. I mean,
and more too with Tyson Hill. I mean, how much is he effective really? I mean, he scored a touchdown. Obviously on the one play, but you could have had a running back do that play if you needed it.
Yeah, I mean,
or whatever.
Yeah, a touchdown on like the 1 yard line is a high probability play. I mean, you can get anyone in there and do that. And you're paying this guy $15 million to do that 3 times a game. I mean, like it's just
he can't even throw.
Yeah, it's I don't get it. I just don't get it. Especially that. I mean, I think they franchise tagged him and then they gave him like a 3-year. I know his cap is like $15 million next year. Like that's a joke.
Right.
So, do you think it'd be worth to have him take a couple snaps instead of just one every now and then?
I would like to see them throw the ball with him a little more. You can't just keep throwing. I mean, I know he threw his first pass last week, but you need to start showing different looks. I mean, it's been the same couple things for the
defense
first couple of days. I mean, his very first snap the week on the was week 2, I think it was. His very first snap was an amazing play design. I was so I was excited for where this is going, and then again, it just kind of goes back to that boring, predictability that Doug's starting to come up with lately.
Doug's predictable.
He's getting there.
I didn't realize this.
When I'm looking at third and 30, and I'm ready for a screen pass. Yeah, I mean it's just.
All right, so
Go ahead, John.
Let's give Jason a couple minutes to catch his breath because we got another analytics guy on the show, and I want to tap into his resources for minor league baseball. Any update there, Anthony? Anything that you can report out of minor league baseball? Come on, you got to have something.
I mean, not too much. They're still meeting. I don't think we'll hear any announcement until we get out of the playoffs here. The gentleman that they have sort of negotiating for minor league baseball has ownership in minor league baseball teams, but he's also been involved with major league baseball teams. So he's probably the best person for us at this point to do it because, the commissioner has said he's going to retire in December. So he's sort of, at this point, not interested in that. So we really haven't heard anything. I imagine we won't hear anything until the playoffs are over with. And hopefully then, they figure out who's going to be in charge. Obviously, the league offices will be out of New York City, just like Major League Baseball. But I don't know who will be in charge of it. I don't know if the league themselves that we have, like the Eastern League that we're in, if that'll still be, intact with the commissioner that we have, or if it'll be someone else. So there really hasn't been much since last week, other than you keep hearing, positive comments from all sides. So I think, if you take anything out of it, it's nice that, Major League Baseball is still negotiating with sort of an entity that doesn't even have anyone in charge because, realistically, they don't have to. They could do anything that they want, but, they're playing nice right now and hopefully that continues and we have some answers in the next month or so.
Very cool. How about what's going on up at Reading Baseball Town this weekend?
Yeah, so this week, Friday is Sandlot. The movie Sandlot. It's like $2 a ticket, which is nice. Family event. Saturday is Major League movie, and that's at I think 6:30 or so.
Good movie.
Then the week after, we're showing the movie Hocus Pocus on Friday, and the week after that, on the 30th. We'll have like a safe trick-or-treating for families inside the stadium, which will be nice. We sold out the first session. I think there's like 400 people coming in the first session. Probably 400 people for the second session. That's almost full at this point. I think people are just looking for something nice. Kids want to trick-or-treat still. They just want it in a timed-out sort of environment that's a little safer. And then the 31st, there's a similar safe trick-or-treat for the kids in the Dream League over at the Dream League field, maybe 5 minutes from the stadium. So
nice.
That's pretty much what we have going on. I think November 1st or so ends it. There'll be a Toys for Tots event from the Harley Davidson dealership. So they'll do a ride from the Harley Davidson dealership and they'll end at the stadium. for our Toys for Tots event, and that'll be the last one to end out the season as far as events on November 1st, and then just starting to prepare for next season. And makes it a little tough when not having a schedule, but as soon as that drops, hopefully in the next month or two, that we can start preparing and get going for April.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we appreciate the update there, and all that you support, that you put out as well. Lauren,
Sure.
what do you got going on? You're a busy gal as well.
Yeah, we've got some events coming up as well. We have 3 events on Sunday, actually, one in Lancaster, one in Mount Bethel, and one in Birdsboro. We also are doing some movie events as well. That's closer to Halloween weekend. But this Sunday, we have sort of like a Sunday fun day type thing with some live music at our dog park from 12 to 3. Our last mini pints of the season is happening at Hardball Cider from 1 to 5 with a Billy Joel tribute band that's there from 2 to 5 called We May Be Right. So that should be a fun one to end with. And then we've got a couple Halloween events ourselves. On the 30th, we have a kids' Halloween party back out at the dog park showing Hotel Transylvania. And then the night of Halloween on October 31st, showing Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then we just have our big art auction coming up on November 14th, which is virtual this year. So I've been working a lot on that to get all the items listed on the website so folks can bid. So I'll certainly share that link when it becomes available to the public.
Very cool.
So
Very
where is the Rocky Horror Picture Show going to be shown?
At our dog park.
Okay.
So it'll be outside. We have the prop bags for everybody that's familiar with the show or the movie and all that good stuff. So should be fun.
We have somebody who's watching who's a huge Rocky Horror fan, Belinda. So she might be contacting you to find out exactly where it is. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. So, Mario, any questions from our guests on the board here or anything? Anything that we need to address?
I think they're trying to process all the information Jason has given them.
You got a lot of family on board, it looks like, because they're.
I think my entire family's watching.
Yeah.
They don't log on to see me. They log.
Yeah, they
on-
weren't here for you.
Yeah, definitely better down there in the corner. So maybe some of you could rub some of that off on him. You know what I mean?
It's gonna take a lot more than that. What we're capable of.
Come on, the show's been too quiet. We need to spice it up a little bit.
Jason and I are very good at going back and forth. To give you a little background, I lost a bet to Jason. We made this bet in 2008, I believe, right after the Phillies won the World Series.
You still remember that?
It cost me $600. So I bet Jason
I'll
that,
stay with you.
yeah, exactly. So I bet Jason that the Phillies would win another World Series before the Eagles won a Super Bowl, and obviously I lost. Dumbass me reminded him of the bet because he forgot about it, and we ended up going to where was it? Steakhouse.
Briscoes.
Yeah, Del Frisco Steakhouse.
Jason's
And-
not forgetting it. He's still
Yeah, I
looking
know.
at
I know.
Still dream that dinner.
And I think we ate everything in the place. It was a good best money I ever spent because we got a Super Bowl out of it, and we got to spend some time giving each other shit back and forth and bonding like we normally do.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, it was fun. We had a good time.
Very cool.
I'll
Jason,
know not to make that bet again.
so Jason, I
Yeah.
guess the question that everybody wants to ask: how did you get into this? I mean, how did this fall into your lap? I mean, where did it come from?
Exactly. It was a combination of a couple. I forget how many years ago. 2014 maybe. So basically, what happened was I'm a lawyer in my spare time now. A lawyer. My very first job was my very first week, and there was I happened to luck into I won a scholarship for the tuition for a semester for the NFL Scouting Academy. So I was So I did that for a semester. It was just online. It's probably one of the best, football. If you're going to try to get into the business and scouting stuff like that to get into. So I mean, that just kind of fell in my laps. I mean, I just gave it a shot. I mean, I've always taken a pretty deep dive into football to begin with. But that was pretty interesting. So I had something on my background to use. And then this year, basically, it was just COVID lockdown. I had nothing else better to do besides. I originally started for fantasy. I started learning how to code. There's a great guide, great resource if anyone ever wants to learn. It's called NFL Fast R. There's a whole guide. It gives you step by step just how to go through it from top to bottom, and it'll get you going immediately. And then you start talking to people. And then this just kind of fell in my lap too. So that it's just series of random events just led me here.
There you go.
Very cool.
Can't beat luck.
Do you happen to see a noticeable difference in how the guys play with and without fans? Like, does it have an actual impact on the game as much as we think it does?
It's a really hard thing to measure. Because there's been some research lately that even home field advantage itself really isn't a home field advantage anymore. There really hasn't been too much movement as far as efficiency goes. So I don't know if I would say that. See, it's also hard to differentiate because all the teams are just a mess right now. So I mean, you don't really know if it's because of lack of fans or it's because everyone's. I mean, it's just revolving door of injuries on every single team, like across the board. So I mean, it's just a weird year. I mean, you have Tuesday night football. I mean, things are just weird this year. It's just a weird all around.
How much does no preseason play into the injuries?
I would think that by now it would have been over. I could see it maybe like a front loaded at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Guys are just going in. But I mean, like week 5 now, guys should be in shape. I mean, it's weird. I mean, it's just I could be. I mean, obviously I'm not a doctor. I could be completely wrong, but I would imagine by this point in time they should be good. Getting good to go. But I mean, who knows? It's just, it's 2020. It's when it's that year.
Oh yeah.
God.
Sure.
All right, Carl, what do you got?
Well,
Anything?
I just I'm intrigued by this, from the standpoint of all the betting that's going on these days. I mean, every channel you turn on is DraftKings and just so much that's being sponsored by the online betting. And is this is this the new wave? Is this where it has gone? And have they really got hold of the because there's so many gimmick bets nowadays and things, not just picking the winner and loser, but where does it reach a saturation point, or doesn't it? Are they able to come up with all new betting procedures and plus this and minus that? Where do you see it going?
You're right on track. It's blowing up, and I don't see it dying down anytime soon. This is the new wave. It's even outside of sports and football, like analytics is just people are realizing that you can actually start getting some great insights. You can actually start seeing things from a different perspective, getting better, better understanding of how relationships between things and how things work. That's just as true as ever in the fantasy and the betting world. If you like, so for instance, I just read. I'm not a big bettor, but I've read last week. Obviously, I can't remember if they covered it up, but the Seahawks, they were 70% last year. It was covering the spread in the second half if they were down, or a Monday Night Football if they were for an over under at 50. So if you're able to look at data and be able to process that, you're gonna start making better decisions. In fantasy too. Fantasy, if you can find a lot of edges in and reviewing lineups, for instance, reviewing. I mean, one of the biggest things in DraftKings is trying to have the best lineup, have the most optimized lineup, have the most unique lineup. So you can actually, there are ways you can actually scrape all this information from the web and like analyze these things, so you can see. I do a lot of work with the DraftKings Showdown, so I can see like what's the best position to use in the captain spot. What's going to give you the most, like who to pair them with, correlation, stuff like that. And a lot of people are doing modeling and stuff like that. So you can be as advanced as you want to be with it. But
so real quick, the Eagles are -7.5 this Sunday. Who do I got some mad loot. I want to double it up.
That's a weird line for me.
It is
against the Baltimore Ravens,
right? Mike?
I mean, it kind of it tells me that Vegas likes the Birds more than everyone else,
Exactly.
or they might just. I mean, they might just be a little down on the Ravens, but I kind of have a hard time believing that.
That's sucking you in that -7.5.
Yeah, that's a weird. When I heard that, that's a weird line.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Right. So who wins? I know it's hard for you to say.
This is week 2. I have a feeling they're going to win this game. It's just one of those games. I don't have any insight for you. I don't have any special knowledge. It's one of those games.
I like this guy. Mario's not on next week, so I'm bringing Jason in. So we got it. We got this covered.
You don't think Nate Gary's going to be covering Mark Andrews? I hope.
I think you could cover better than Nate Gary.
I think Harry Roseman needs to utilize some of that newfound power he has, and having say over the game day lineup and take him out.
Right. You hope. I mean,
I don't know how he's still on the field. I mean, it's cut him. You got rid of St. Jones, but you can let Nate Gary run up and down the field. That's
right. And like you said, in Jacksonville, he's playing well.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
All right, I think it's about ready time for takeaways. Jay, we'll go with you first. What's your takeaway for tonight?
My takeaway for
anything you want to say. Anything you want to say.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, give him a warning.
That's what a good Godfather does.
Exactly right. Plug your company, bud. Come on.
My takeaway, I'll tell you. I think the Birds are going to turn it around. I think we're going to sneak into the playoffs at the end of the year.
Really?
I really like this.
That's
guy.
my bold move.
All right, cool. Carl, what do you got?
Well, again, I want to thank Jason. That was a great hour of entertaining. What goes on behind the scenes, and I want to thank him. Tenfold for joining us and enlightening us on what goes on behind the scenes and putting all these numbers together, and just totally enjoyable hour. But I want to give another shout out to Sue Henderson, and hope she's still with us. And hasn't fallen asleep. Get well soon, and hopefully they boot you out of that place tomorrow. So
absolutely,
there we go.
All right, John, you're up.
Well, again, Sue, get healthy, get well. We need to see you around the shop every once in a while, and we need you there for Saturday too. It's not going to be the same. But also for fantasy football, we're going to extend it till Friday. To get your votes in, so get your votes in. That'll give me a little bit of time to get all the information needed to gather here. I'm going to talk to Jason in a little bit to get my picks. And
so now you have an inside guy.
Oh, I do now, but I didn't prior to this. I mean,
would it be nice to have one there?
Yeah, it would be nice to have one. I wouldn't try to screw me.
Oh, so now you're blaming him for the picks this week?
No, not at all.
We're getting there. We got 37 players, so hopefully we push over that 40 mile margin there, and get the votes up and get the word out to your friends to join. So
we're giving away that autograph Ron Jaworski 100th NFL football mini helmet. So nice prize. So, help Johnny out. He's got a lot of loose papers flying around in that binder of his.
Yes, I do. That's for
All
sure.
right. Lauren, you're up. What do you got?
I'm gonna, also join in on wishing my mom the very best and hoping for the speediest recovery possible. All the best wishes and prayers to her right now. It's been a tough couple days for this little family, so all the best to her right now.
Okay. Anthony.
So I just saw with the TV in the background that Tony La Russa is interviewing for the White Sox. He's almost 75 years old. He hasn't managed since he managed the Cardinals. I guess it was a while ago now. I don't know even what year, early 2011, 12, whatever. I don't know.
Wow.
Year.
Wow.
I mean, he's 75 years old and they're interviewing for the White Sox head coach job. So I just thought that was very, very interesting.
Okay. So first, Jay, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Not a problem. And I will not be on the show next week. I'll explain why in a little bit. Sue, we love you. Get better soon and get home. So the reason I will not be on the show next week, most of you know, I think a couple months ago, one of my takeaways was that I was at my current job for 33 years. October 30th will be my last day. I've taken a job at a hospital down in Sarasota, Florida, and I will be moving out of Pennsylvania in November. I will still be on the show. Unfortunately for all of you, I'll still be on the show. And I will do the best I can to make it as often as I can. But that's my new venture, and scared to death, but it's something I got to do. And
Well, congrats.
so, thank
Congrats.
you.
You know what? You got to chase it. So
Absolutely.
just like I'm looking for that winner on Sunday, you're looking for that winner in Sarasota. So, good for you. That's awesome.
All right,
That's awesome. Congratulations again. Thank you.
yes.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Jay, if you want to take my place next week, you're more than welcome to. Feel free to bust on me, even though I'm not going to be here. And with
We
that,
would never do that, Mario.
oh, absolutely. Come on. So with that, we will see you next Wednesday at 6:30. Have a good week. Have a good weekend, and see you later.
All right,
See ya.
guys.
Thanks.